Welcome to the wonderful world of watercolor, or the wonderful world of watercolor. Yeah, I know, it's not your favorite thing to do, but we're going to do it. This is the basics of the basics to get into painting. We're going to talk about shading and layering or washing your colors using watercolor. Listen for that transition. So this is just going to be like a test sheet. Basically, it's a prelim process to the final product. You're going to be learning about different kinds of way of applying watercolor. You should have already done the lines, so we're going to go and just jump right into this. Remember, you're tinting the paper. You're not painting the paper, you're tinting it. So we're going to use the lines to get some basic two-dimensional shapes. They don't have to be perfect. My box here is definitely not perfect. Okay? And now you want to shade. We're going to get there. We're going to go put a couple things here. The first one I'm going to do is called wet on wet. So basically, the idea behind that is that you're going to get the surface wet, and then where it should be the darkest for your shadow, you are going to put paint and then manipulate that paint in that surface area so that you shade and go from a dark mid-tone to a highlight. You can see here I'm adding water, and then pow, I'm going to add some orange, and I'm just moving around. I'm not using a whole lot of orange. Remember, we're tinting the paper, so we don't need much paint. We're going to have to wait till later, and then we're going to go over that again with another color once it dries so we can get what is called a wash. In painting, you layer colors to add to the intensity, especially with acrylic paints because they bleed through. You're constantly manipulating the paint on the surface to get the exact hue, color, or intensity that you desire. And you can see here, now didn't put water down, but I'm putting actual paint, so this is called dry painting. It's not really dry, but we're taking color straight from the end, and then we're drying it off in a more less wet application. I'll add a little bit of water to my brush to move the paint down. When you do not scrub with the brush, you want to lay the bristles down on the paper gently to move it around. You scrub with my brush, then it looks like bad hair day for my brush, then no one can use the brush, and Mr. Roate is not happy. Do not make Mr. Roate non-happy. And this is wet application. You add a little bit of water, you get a little bit of paint, and then you just add a little bit of paint here and there to get it darker. It's easy to overwork, and it's easy to get too much water. So I'm not a big fan of it personally. Now we're going to talk about doing washes or layering color with like the red. So I'm using red on top of this because red makes orange, and red is a darker color. Hence, red will make the orange darker, and it gives that nice value to your coloring spectrum. You can use complementary colors like what Mr. Roate does when doing flesh tones, using like a vermilion and a lime green to get more of a browner, peacher tone. Here I have red, and then if I add green over top of it, I will get more kind of like a brown or a blood color, depending on how much paint I have on both sides. It's going to take me a little while to mix some of it in, but you'll see that it will change color. And this is what washes do. This is what layering does. When you add more than one color, you can get different hues, different variety, and different intensities. This is what you're going to be practicing doing on this paper. You're going to be practicing building just basic objects, two-dimensional objects, and shading them, putting the shadows where you need the shadows to be, and putting the highlights where the highlights to be. See here, I'm just darkening up the sphere. There should be other photo resources or resources to show you where the shadow should go. Keep in mind where your light source is. And tint the paper, you're not painting the paper.